Hello, good morning one and all. In the previous session we have learnt about while and do while, and in this session we are going to understand the importance of the another kind of loop called for loop. And my name is Dr. P. Shivakumar, Associate Professor in the Department of Computer Science Engineering, KL University. Let's go deep into the for loop. So as I told you in the previous session, the basic difference between a while loop and a do while loop, where we have two kinds of loops. One is entry controlled and the other one is an exit controlled. In the entry controlled we have seen while loop. In an exit controlled we have seen do while. So as a part of an entry control loop we are going to see another kind of loop in this session called for loop. So the main aim of the session is used to familiarize all of you with how a for loop works and what are the benefits of using for loop, and it covers the basic overview of how we are going to write the syntax and how the flow chart of a for loop will be, etc. So let's go deep into the for loop. So at the end of the session you are going to you will be able to understand what is the basic definition of a for loop and how it works, and we'll see some examples to solve some real world problems using for loop. Let's see how the syntax of a for loop will be. As you have already know the syntax of while loop and do while loop, because we have already discussed in the previous session. In for loop we know that every loop has three important statements in it. The first one is initialization, the second one is condition checking, and the third one is increment and decrement operator. So what you have done in a while loop, first you have initialize the value. Second, in a while loop you have written a condition. Inside the body you have written increment or decrement. But in the for loop we can able to write all the three statements in a for loop in a single parenthesis. So this is what the general syntax of a for loop is. So you can see, for first we are going to write with initialization. As we know that we have to start with a initial value followed by semicolon, a very important point. You have to put a semicolon after initialization, and followed by condition checking, where you have to check the condition. If the condition is true, then only it goes inside the body. Once the body is executed, again you are going to increment or decrement the value. Once you increment or decrement the value, again it checks the condition. If the condition is true, again it goes inside. Again from the body, again it goes to increment and decrement. Again from increment to decrement, again it checks the condition. This will be repeated until the condition is satisfied. My dear students, what is the definition of a loop basically? Yes, I know what is there in your mind. A loop is nothing but repetition of same set of statements number of times until the condition is satisfied. So based on the syntax, like for while loop we have to do initialization first. Next, in a while loop we have to write a condition, and inside the body we have to write either increment or decrement. But in a for loop all the three statements can be written with the help of semicolon. It has to be separated with a semicolon. First initialization, followed by condition, followed by increment or decrement. So this is what the general syntax of a for loop is. Now let's see how a flow chart will be. This is what a flow chart for a for loop will be. As usual, you have to start with initial value, first initialized, followed by the condition checking. If the condition is true, it goes inside the loop, that's nothing but a body. And if you carefully observe this, once the code inside the loop is executed, you can see it is update counter. Here counter, don't get confused, it is nothing but increment or decrement. The terminology is somewhat different, don't worry, everything is the same. update counter is nothing but increment or decrement. You can see. So first one initialization, second is condition. If the condition is true, go inside the body. I told you once the body part is executed, again you have to go to increment or decrement. Again from the increment or decrement you have to check the condition. This process will be repeated until the condition is true. Once if the condition becomes false, you have to come out of the loop. So this is what the flow chart of a for loop will be. So let's go deeper into for loop by writing some basic examples so that you can able to understand how a for loop works. Let us see the first. My dear students, we have written a program to print KLU 10 times using while loop and do while loop in the previous session. Now you are very much familiar with writing a loop programs by using while and do while. Now in this we are going to write the same program using for loop. So here I have written example of a nested while loop. I'm sorry, it's not a nested while loop, it is just a for loop, right? So let's see, you have to write a C program to print KLU 10 times using for loop. See the question, you have to print KLU 10 times using a for loop. So let's see how to start writing the program. As usual, we start with a header file called #include stdio.h, where stdio.h stands for a standard input output header file, as everyone knows that. What does this header file contains? An header file is also known as a library. What does a library contains basically? Yes, you know the answer, books. But in this C programming, a library contains some functions, predefined functions. So what do you mean by a function? You can see printf and scanf are called functions. You know that the importance of printf and scanf. Printf is used to print the output, scanf is used to read the input from the keyboard, right? So these are the two important functions which is present in a library called stdio.h, stands for standard input output header file. Let's start with the program. As usual, every C program starts with a main function, we know that. So if you carefully observe the program what we have written before using a while loop and do while loop and a for loop, we have not initialized the value. In the previous session, in the while loop we have written like this: int I is equals to 1. This is called initialization, but this is called declaration. Just try to understand the difference, my dear students. This is what the initialization is, but this is what the declaration is. So you have declared the variable I. As I told you, the syntax of a for loop, where you can write all the three statements in a for. If you carefully observe, so for, what is the initial value, my dear students? I starts with 1, because my question is I want to print KLU 10 times. So you have to start from I is equals to 1. So I equals to 1, initialization, followed by semicolon. We have seen the syntax of a for loop. It has to be followed with a semicolon, my dear students. So now immediately after initialization, what is the next one you have to see? Condition checking. So condition checking is nothing but what is the I value? 1. Is 1 less than or equals to 10, my dear students? Yes. Immediately most of you have a doubt in a mind that, sir, after semicolon will it goes to increment I plus plus? No, my dear students, just remove that from your mind. Once the condition is satisfied, as per the flow chart, once it is satisfied, it goes inside the loop first. So what it prints on the screen? KLU will be printed for the first time. Then what I told you, as per the flow chart, it goes to increment or decrement. So what is the increment? Initially I value is 1. So it print KLU on the screen. Now I plus plus, increment the I value, now the I value becomes 2. Again from the increment, again it goes to the condition. What is the condition, my dear students? I less than or equals to 10. What is the I value, updated I value now? 2. Is 2 less than or equals to 10? Yes, the condition is true. Sorry. The condition is true. Again it goes inside. It prints. So initially I is equals to 1. KLU is printed for the first time. Next initial I will be incremented. So KLU will be printed for the second time. So after printing again it goes to the increment. So now what is the updated value of I, my dear students? I will be 3. So after incrementing the value, again it checks whether the condition is satisfying or not. That's what the definition of a loop is. Repeating the same set of statements number of times until the condition is satisfied. So again it goes inside and it prints KLU for the third time. Now tell me what is your answer, my dear students? What is the next value? Will it stop the program? Will the programs get stopped, or will it perform something else? Yes, everyone has an answer in the mind. Your answer is increment the value. What is the next value of I, my dear students? I will be 4. So again check the condition, 4 less than or equals to 10, KLU will be printed for the 4th time, and so on. It prints up to 10 times. I equals to 10, it prints KLU for 10 times. Now tell me what is your next value of I, my dear students? Now your I value becomes 11. Now again it goes to the condition checking. As per the flow chart, is 11 less than or equals to 10? No, the condition gets failed. Then it comes out of the loop, and if you see the output screen, you can see KLU is printed 10 times on the screen. This is the way how you have to print KLU, a string, 10 times using for loop. Now my question is, my dear students, if I want to print your name, let us take your name is Mahesh Babu. If you want to print Mahesh Babu 100 times, what are the things to be changed in my program? Yes, most of the students got the answer in the mind. The only change what we have to do is, will I change initialization? Your answer is no. Will I change the condition? Your answer is yes. Most of the student has an answer. Instead of 10, what you have to change, my dear students? I less than or equals to 100. I less than or equals to 100. That is what the condition to be changed. What is the string? Another change also you have to do. Will you increment or decrement? Your answer is increment. Very good. Then what is the next change we have to do? What I ask you to print? I want to print Mahesh Babu 100 times. But what is the string here? KLU. Just retype it, Mahesh Babu, on the screen. If you run this program, now tell me how many times Mahesh Babu will be printed on the screen? 100 times it prints Mahesh Babu on the screen. So this is the way how you have to use a for loop. Let's see another example how you are going to solve some problems using for loop. The next question basically is, as we already done in the while loop and do while loop, I want to print numbers from 1 to 10 without changing the slide. I want you people to give the answer how to print 1 to 10 numbers using for loop. Yes, very good. Most of the student knows the answer how to print 1 to 10 numbers using for loop. I'll just move the slide, you can check it. Very simple. This is the way how you have to print 1 to 10 numbers using for loop. As usual, we start with a header file main, followed by, did I initialize or did I declare? Yes, your answer is declared but not initialized. I have declared the variable, so int I. So what is the loop starts with? So I is equals to 1. Very good. Is 1 less than or equals to 10? Yes, the condition is true. If the condition is true, just go inside. My dear student, what you have observed between the previous slide and this slide, most of the students got a doubt in the mind. Sir, what is percentage 3D? What do you mean by percentage 3D? We know that percentage D prints integer. Then what is the importance of 3 there? Why you have written 3, sir? See, percentage 3D is nothing but it prints the output by giving 3 spaces between one number and another number. That is what the advantage of using percentage 3D. If you won't write percentage 3D, what happens is you can see the output on the screen like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, as an examiner or as a faculty, if anyone sees your output, what they think? Yes, you know what they think. They think that it's a single number. But what is your aim? What is the output in your mind? It is a 10 numbers. It has to be, it is printed 10 numbers has been printed. But the faculty in general, they think that it's a 10-digit number. So in order to avoid that confusion, that's why I wrote percentage 3D. If you run the same program, my dear students, let's check what will be the output. It prints like this: 1, first space, second space, third space, it prints 2, space, space, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See the difference? This is the way how you can print spaces between each and every number. Sir, I want to give 5 spaces. Then what is your answer, my dear students? Instead of 3D, I'll just remove it and I'll put 5. Sir, is there any other alternative way without putting a number? Yes, we have. Just put a \t. You can put percentage %d here. Instead of 3D, put percentage %d \t, comma I. This is the way how you can print numbers with spaces. What do you mean by T, sir? A \t is nothing but tab space. A tab space is again 3 spaces, right? You can give a number, or if you give a \t also, it prints with spaces. I hope everyone understood the importance of percentage %3D and a \t by printing numbers from 1 to 10. If you won't write percentage %3D or anything, what is your answer, my dear students? It looks like a single number. But what is your output? It has to be printed 1, 2, 3, 4 separately. In order to separate them, we use a special type of syntax called percentage %3D. Right? If you want 5 spaces, percentage %5D, 10, 10D, etc., etc. So this is the way how you print 1 to 10 numbers using for loop. My next question is, without changing the slide, my dear students, I want to print the numbers from 10 to 1. If I want to print the numbers from 10 to 1, now tell me what is the answer, how to write the code to print 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, so on with spaces. Yes, my dear students, everyone, most of you, around 90% of the students knows how to write a program to print a numbers from 10 to 1. Right? I think the answer is there in your mind. Let us discuss how to print numbers from 10 to 1. I won't change the slide, my dear students. Please check whether the answer what is there in your mind is related with the next slide or not. Just compare it whether your solution is matching with my solution or not. So as usual, we start with a hash include stdio.h. As usual, we start with a main function. As usual, we start with a curly braces. As usual, we start with a int I. Did I initialize the value? No, I have just declared, right? So next, the change will be started from for loop. Let's see what is the change. For, tell me the answer, my dear students. What is the first one I have to change? Will the I value get started? First, you have to write the output on on a paper. My output is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, so on up to 1. So first I have to print 10 on the screen. So where I have to take the value of I? What is the initial value of I, my dear students? Yes, very good. The answer is I has to be started from 10 followed by semicolon. Up to which number I told you to print? Up to, what is the last number to be printed? 1. So I greater than or equals to 1 is my condition. Now tell me, my dear students, will I write an increment or a decrement? I'll leave it for you. Afterwards, you tell me what I have to write, right? Printf, as usual, percentage %3D. You know what is the importance of percentage %3D, comma I. This is the way how you print 10 to 1 numbers. Now my question is, will you write I plus plus or I minus minus? Yes, my dear students, you know the answer. The answer is I minus minus is your answer. Yes, very good. So this is the way how you print the numbers from 10 to 1. Let's see how it works. Where is the initial value, my dear students? I starts with 10. Very good. What is the condition I wrote, my dear students? I greater than or equals to 1. Is 10 greater than or equals to 1? Yes, my dear students, it is true. Just go inside and print 10 on the screen. So 10 will be printed on the screen. Very good. Next, what I am doing? I minus minus. So I will be next 9. Your next I value is, I am writing at the top, I value will be 9. Again, what is the condition, my dear students? Is 9 greater than or equals to 1? Yes, go inside and print I value. Next 9 will be printed. Now tell me what happens next. I will be 8. Very good. 8 greater than or equals to 1? Yes, 8 will be printed on the screen. Very good. And tell me how many values it's going to print. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, so on up to 1. Now tell me what is the last value of I? I will become 0. When I becomes 0, is this condition is satisfying or not satisfying? Yes, it is not satisfying. 0 greater than or equals to 1 is false. That's why it comes out of the loop, and finally if you carefully observe the output on the screen, you can see the numbers printed from 10 to 1. Now tell me, will it print 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or will it print 10 space, 9 space, and so on? What is your answer? Is this the answer or is this the answer? Yes, my dear students, whatever the answer is there on the right hand side, that will be your answer which is printed on the screen, right? This is the way how you print numbers from 1 to 10 to 1. Let's see the same program, what's there in your mind. Let's see what's there in your mind, whether to print the 10 to 1 numbers, the same code what you have written before is matching with the code what is available on the screen. Yes, very good. So most of the students got the same answer. This program is used to print 10, 9 and so on up to 1, right? My next question, a very important. Now I'll give a time for you, my dear students, for the next program. You just think of it, take a white paper and a pen, just try to design an algorithm and a flow chart, and then you can write a code for it. The next question is, what is the output for the following program? Just guess the output for the following program. This is a very important and a typical question where till now we have not studied the syntax of for loop like this. Sir, the syntax what you told is it must be without semicolon, but at the end you can see I kept a semicolon. That's what the important thing is. That's the thing why I have given this question for you, my dear students. Don't copy the solutions from the internet. Just think the solution, whether an output comes from this program or will it get a compilation error or a runtime error. That's what my question is. Your answer must be, sir, we'll get the output. How many of you say you'll get the output? Right? Because I can't see you, just you can raise your hands and think of yourself. Yes, I know what is the answer is there in the mind. And how many of you say that you'll get a compilation error from this program? And most of you, some of you might be thinking that, sir, this program may get a compilation error. And some of you might think that this program gives a runtime error. So based on this, we'll move forward. What will be the output for this following program? Yes, my dear students, your guess is correct. The students whose solution is there in the mind that we'll get the output, we won't get any compilation error or runtime error, those students are correct. Why, sir? How, sir? What will be the output, sir? Because the syntax shows that we must not put a semicolon after for loop, but you kept. It means that every C program statement ends up with a semicolon. Every C statement ends up with a semicolon. It means that this, first we start with I is equals to 1. Is 1 less than or equals to 10? Yes. Since you kept a semicolon after the for loop, it won't goes inside the body, my dear student. That is the important thing you have to understand. If you won't put a semicolon, it goes inside. But since you kept a semicolon at the end of the for loop, again this for loop will be evaluated. It won't go into the body. So immediately I will be incremented. What is I value? First you have taken I value is 1, 1 less than or equals to 10, yes, but it won't go to the body. Immediately it goes to I plus plus. So in the next step I will be 2. Again it checks the condition. Is 2 less than or equals to 10? Yes, but since you kept a semicolon, will it goes inside the body or it doesn't goes? Yes, my dear student, it doesn't goes inside the body. Again what happens, my dear students? Is 2 less than or equals to 10? Yes, again it goes to I plus plus. What is the I value will be? 3. Again it checks the condition. 3 less than or equals to 10? Yes. 4 less than or equals to 10? Yes. 10 less than or equals to 10? Yes. Again I increments. What is the last value of I where that condition will be will not satisfy? Yes, my dear students, the I value will be 11 where the condition doesn't satisfy. Is 11 less than or equals to 10? No. So the for loop, it won't goes inside the for loop again. It won't go for the increment. Then what is the next statement? Immediately inside for loop we have I value is printed. What is the last value of I, my dear students? 11. So this program gives an output called 11. Now my question is, you tell me what is the output you will get. I is equals to 100. I less than or equals to 2000. I plus plus followed by semicolon. Printf I. Now tell me what is the answer you'll get on the screen. Yes, most of the student tells that compilation error. No. Runtime error? No. What is the answer now? Yes, most of the students have the answer in the mind. The answer is 2001 will be printed on the screen because the for loop will be rotating inside only up to 2000. When the condition will be dissatisfied, for I value 2001 it gets dissatisfied. Then the I value, if you print the I value, it prints 2001 on the screen. And if you have anything in your mind that if you put a semicolon, most of the faculty may tell that, sir, if you put a semicolon, it's an error, compilation error or runtime error. We can put a semicolon, but the thing is, you won't get the output from 1 to 2000. What is the answer you'll get on the screen? 2001 will be the output, right? So this is the way how you have to guess, because these questions are very important during your interviews, right? Because in order to judge your knowledge, most of the interviewers may ask such type of questions. Immediately you will give a response that, sir, we must not put a semicolon after for loop. That's wrong, my dear student. Now you got an answer. What is the answer? The last value where the condition is not satisfying, that value is printed on the screen. Hope understood, my dear students? Yes. Next we continue with the next program, how to find sum of n natural numbers using a for loop. As we have already discussed the same program in while loop and do while, the only thing is you have to change the syntax of it, right? We know how to write a syntax of a for loop. Let's see how this program works. Initially I am directly starting with a for loop, because you know what is a main, what is a variable declaration, etc. These are all variable declaration. Did I initialized I or declared I? Yes, 75% of students only telling that we have initialized or we have declared. Only 75 are telling that we have declared, and 25 are still in a dilemma. No, my dear students, int I is declared. Sum equals to 0 is initialized. That's what the difference is. Let's start with our program to find sum of first 10 natural numbers. So I equals to 1. Yes. Is 1 less than or equals to 10, my dear students? Yes, the condition is true. Go inside. What is the formula I wrote? Sum is equals to sum plus I. Sum is equals to, what is the initial value of sum? 0, plus what is the update, what is the I value? 1. 0 plus 1, which is equals to 1. Therefore in the first step the updated sum value will be 1. Again in the next step it goes I plus plus, right? I will be incremented. So in the next step I will be 2. Again it checks the condition. Is 2 less than or equals to 10, my dear students? Yes, just go inside. Sum is equals to, again you have to find the sum. Sum is equals to sum plus I is the formula. What is the previous value of sum we got? 1. Just write down 1, plus what is the updated I value we have? 2. 1 plus 2, which is equals to 3. Therefore the updated sum value is 3. Now tell me what is the next step, my dear students? Yes, most of the students got the answer. Everyone is telling that I is equals to 3. Very good. Is 3 less than or equals to 10, my dear students? Yes, just go inside. Sum is equals to sum plus I. What is the updated sum in the previous step? 3. Plus what is the I value now? 3, which is equals to 6. So the updated value of sum will be 6 now. Can you tell me what is the next step, my dear students? Yes, most of the students are giving answers. I equals to 4, sir. 4 less than or equals to 10, sir. Yes, it is true, sir. Sum is equals to, what is the previous value of sum, sir? 6. What is the I value, sir? 4. 6 plus 4 equals to 10 is stored in sum. If you perform up to I equals to 10, you will get sum of first n natural numbers. 55 will be printed on the screen. The output must be 55. So this is the way. When the condition is going to when the condition will be dissatisfied, when I becomes 11, is 11 less than or equals to 10? No, it comes out of the for loop and you print sum. What is the last updated sum value, my dear students? It is stored 55. The value 55 is stored in sum. So if you print the sum value, it prints 55 on the screen. See how simple we can use a loop to solve some basic examples as well as the real world examples, right? So in the next step, now you can practice, my dear students. These are some of the basic programs. If you try these programs at home, and then if you get a solution for it, you are perfect in loops. You can write any program. You can write any program by your own without copying the solutions from the internet. So write a C program to print even numbers up to n. You know that, how to print even numbers. You know what is an even number. You have to write a C program to print odd numbers up to n. You know what are odd numbers. And you have to write a C program to find the sum of even and sum of odd numbers up to n. What is the previous program? It is used to find sum of first n natural numbers. Based on the program, you have to find the sum of even numbers and odd numbers up to n using for loop. You can try it. And so at the end of the session, what we have learned from this session, my dear student, is we have understood what is a for loop is, how to write the syntax and a flow chart of a for loop, and by now you can able to see the difference between, you can understand the difference between while loop, for loop and do while loop. A while loop and a for loop is entry controlled, whereas a do while is a exit controlled, right? So these are the differences what you have observed, and the syntax is also. And finally, these are some of the reference books where these looping programs gives the best questions from that, so you can solve as many problems as you can. And thank you one and all for having a patience listening. Thank you.